Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast featuring the Defensive Player of the Year in the Peach Belt Conference. Nelson Haskin, what's up, man?
What's going on, bro? How you been?
I've been all right, man. Trying to figure stuff out, man. But no excuses, no complaining over here, man. What about you?
I've been good, brother. But ready for the episode we got today. Been looking forward to it.
Man, we have a very, very, very special guest in the building, man. It's a guy of mine. Finally, we got one of my people in here, man. A guy who is like a big bro, a mentor, a crazy uncle that everybody loves for some reason, and just a dope dude all around, man. But before he get on, I'm gonna say this first. None of this humble stuff this time. It's time to big him up, give him his love, and welcome in my guy, Charles Newell. What's up, man?
What's going on, fellas? You crazy, man. And I am the crazy uncle. I'm good with that.
So, go ahead and tell us how you feeling, Newt. What's up, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm excited to be on here. I got to see a lot of what you guys do. We got to hash it out a little bit, talk about some of it. But I'm really excited, man. It's really cool to see guys do it for the genuine love of it and not just do it because they want clout and stuff. Like, y'all actually get on here and spit knowledge. We talk a good bit about how much love you actually have for this and how much love you give to these kids and everything that you do. I'm really just blessed to even be in y'all's company, man. Straight up.
Man, that means a lot to me. That's nice, boy.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
My guys.
Yeah, man. So, it's special, man. I know when we started talking about interviews, you were like probably the first person, if not one of the first people I wanted to have on here as a guest, man. So, it means a lot coming from me to have you on here on this platform. It means a lot that it means a lot to you to come on here, man. So,
yeah, I appreciate you, man.
You.
We've been out shooting. It's what, 9 years now? It's crazy.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Y'all know each other that long?
That's been a minute. Sanford camps, bro. Sanford camps. I was an assistant coach. I was a video guy, then assistant coach. B would come in and work him while he was working other jobs just to get into it and get after it. And we always had respect for each other because I saw how hard he went with the kids that were there. I was like, man, I don't know this guy. This is awesome. He don't even work for us, and he's doing it like this. This is awesome. So that's been my guy for a minute, man.
That's cool.
The crazy part is, I ain't even think that you like really recognize me. I just like another guy that came in. In my mind, I'm just coming in here not to mess up and like just don't get in trouble, don't mess up, make sure the kids have fun, get my money on the last day and get out y'all. That's my mindset coming in.
Get my money on the last day.
That's how most people are, but what they say, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And like, while we don't express, I'm not going to express every single thing, but you got to peep game to everything. That's part of the attention to detail on stuff is like, you see a dude doing it, you might not praise him all the time, but there's a reason we're still talking 9 years later. And when we host our first hoops camp, you were my first call that I made to get in there and start working with us. So that speaks to you, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
I quote the Boondocks, real recognize real.
That's a word.
I guess I'm looking familiar right now.
Yeah, I'm looking real familiar.
Hey, I love it.
But all right, man. So we had a little catch up, man. But take us back to young Newt. What it's like growing up in Kentucky, man. So take us back to way back in the day, man. Before you got into basketball, like what was that person like?
Well, the thing is, I've always been into basketball. I mean, my grandfather, a lot of people don't know this, and we don't brag about it or boast about it, but he was the athletics director of the University of Kentucky. He brought in Rick Pitino, Tubby Smith, and he had played at the University of Kentucky. He's in the Hall of Fame. When you're born into that family, you're born into basketball. Now, the good thing about it was my grandfather, my father, I was lucky enough to have guys who didn't put the pressure on you, just kind of let you develop the love for it. So that was always entrenched in us and who I am. And I'm very thankful and very blessed for that. But, man, I was a kid. I was a knucklehead. I did stupid things. My hands look like this for a reason. They don't look pretty. I like to be a kid. Stuff I probably shouldn't say on here. Then after my little stint at military school, got to get a Division I scholarship at Tennessee Tech. Was very fortunate. Mike Sutton with that. Got to go play there for a couple years. Had this knucklehead Charlie. Made a quick check and then got into college athletics. And here we are now. Yeah, but I was a normal kid, just like every other little white boy in the country. A normal kid.
Born into Kentucky basketball, yeah.
Born into Kentucky basketball. And here's what I will say about that, not to get too long-winded, but when you live in Lexington, Kentucky, you think every college basketball setup is the University of Kentucky.
It's not.
Yeah.
It is not. That is not the norm. That is not the standard. That is the exception. So, like most kids where I'm from, basketball is high level. Like kids can really play. Coaches are phenomenal. But the problem is they have the standard and the expectation that they're going to play at UK. So when they go to, and this isn't a knock, Morehead State's an unbelievable school, unbelievable institution. They got an unbelievable basketball coach in Preston Spradlin. But like we'd have guys who would snub Morehead State to try to go to a junior college somewhere to make it a high major. And you're like, Morehead State's in the Ohio Valley Conference. Morehead State is a phenomenal school. They got a phenomenal coach. It's just things like that. EKU, you know, and you look at them now and you're like, what were you guys thinking?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's funny because it's like being from Alabama high school basketball isn't like the highest level high school basketball in the country. So because it's more of a football place.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the right area to play basketball, like the Birmingham area or Huntsville or, you know, one of the bigger cities like that, you don't really know what big time like basketball really is. Unless you're just traveling far and wide with AAU or going to a lot of good tournaments. You don't really know what it's like playing top tier talent all the time. That's kind of how I was being from rural Alabama. So then guys killing in a little county circuit that they playing in, thinking they going D1, then scored a couple 20, 30s. And then, you know, when it come down to scholarship time, it's like, man, all I got is JUCOs?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? I had 30 points 5 times this season. Like, man, the guys you had 30 against isn't the guys that scoring 30 in Birmingham. So, it's kind of like the opposite. It's like they got high expectations for no reason. Like, so guys think, man, I'm killing, but nobody's really looking at me. It's like, you're not killing the right people. So
exactly. That's why we're doing what we're doing. It has literally, my time at Sanford completely shifted my focus on what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be, instead of chasing and dealing with like bringing in the top guys. Man, how can we catch Alabama up? We're 10 years behind the rest of the country. How can you do it? Well, the best way to do it is to get in with the youth and to build it from the grassroots and to give them a home, to put them on a platform and teach them the right way to where they're moving forward. And so to your point, exactly right there, that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. But don't give away all the sauce too early, man. We gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into all of that.
I feel you.
So I wonder if my bad.
No, you good. We probably say the same thing.
I was wondering, like, if you could compare Kentucky basketball to Alabama football, like, would that be the closest thing that you can see of like
without a
being
doubt
up there? Yeah,
without a doubt.
That makes perfect sense.
Kentucky and Louisville basketball, because Louisville don't get enough credit, and they're fin to with Kenny Payne there. They're about to.
Yeah.
Louisville and Kentucky basketball are in Alabama and Auburn football. And we're talking about the collegiate level, but we all know that trickles down to high school very quickly because it changes what you put importance on. That is the closest thing. It is the closest thing. The passion, the care, the knowledge. And here's the thing is like, in Kentucky, you might not have the best athletes in the world. But their coaches, they care because their coaches live and breathe University of Kentucky and Louisville basketball. Alabama and Auburn coaches in the state of Alabama, you either breathe Auburn or Alabama football, and you're going to learn everything you can to run your program like those. Mm-hmm. So the education level, the knowledge, the how-to, that's where the kids are getting the best.
Yeah. I remember what it was like playing in a football high school, and I'm a good basketball player, and I'm like, man, would be nice to get fed before games.
Must be nice.
Must be nice, man. Not to put my high school out there, but they need to do better because the football team was getting fed on Thursday afternoons, and then getting snacks on Friday during school, and then getting fed Friday before the game. Then they might have food taken home after the game on Friday. I'm
Wow.
like, man, basketball games, we'd be lucky to get some before the game, boy.
You get one of the brown sacks that has the peanut butter, the off-brand peanut butter
Man,
jelly.
man,
The
I
chips with
remember
no
back.
name on the bag.
Yep.
Man, I remember walking to go get food before games. Like literally leaving our gym, like, all right, y'all, I'll be back. Walking, going to get food, and coming back with the food. They never had to do that. I don't think people realize. But hey, that's a story for another day.
Yeah. It's like that a lot of places though.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, but Coach, since you got into your childhood, tell us a little more about like when you got older and started getting into coaching and breaking into where you are now.
Man, I was obviously I mentioned my grandfather, and my father. Very fortunate with the names, and what I learned quickly though is first, and this is not talked about. Nobody's going to bring it up. Forget it. I don't plan on getting back in the business, so I'll just be real. If you're going to be a young white dude in the game, you better have players just stacked up, ready to go. It's just the truth. Okay. And so I was lucky enough. Scott really gave me a chance to bust out and be an assistant coach. And, you know, it helped that we had guys from Kentucky, Darius Miller, Kristen Cunningham. I mean, it was boom, boom like that. But you remember, they just so happened to be pretty two daggum guards to get the program rolling. And those guys really set the tone at Sanford. And I was lucky because I'm a gym rat. I don't know how to function if I'm not in the gym. I mean, it's, 9:25, and we just left the gym 40 minutes ago. I was late to this because we couldn't get out of the gym quick enough. I don't know what to do or how to function if I'm not in the gym. So I was lucky enough to where Scott would give me roles that would really help educate me, and I would have to learn things the hard way. I would fail so bad, and man, that dude gave me grace. And that is something that not a lot of college basketball coaches give you because they're so focused on the product that they don't care about the process. They don't care about how it gets done or how many hours you spend. Either you get it done or you're terrible and you're out. And they really act like little children. Well, he gave me grace, man, and I was just very fortunate. And I got to move up from a video coordinator to where we would spend time watching his old jazz film, his old film with UK so that I could learn his system and how he did things and kind of the nuances of X and O's and how to really like read and attack defenses. And I think like learning as much video as possible because you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know, if that makes sense. And the only way to learn stuff is to really just sit there, examine it, and break it down. And we'll watch a play 5 times, and then we watch it 5 more times because you say, all right, we're going to watch the point guard and what he sees from the defense as far as the secondary defenders, right? So point guard, his matchup doesn't really matter to him because he's trying to run the offense. So you watch what he sees from the secondary defenders. So they may have an offensive set that starts initiating on the right side. Well, if the defense is loaded up, left side, help side, he might try to attack that to suck in the right side on the kickback and then to make reads. And, like, you learn that from watching that position. And then you learn the reads from the big because you sit there and watch the big and how the big reads his man helping. And I would have never thought that. I'm like, most guys looking at it like, all right, how do I attack my guy when I have the ball? But Scott was brilliant in that he knew how to attack guys without the ball. He knew how to read his spacing and what move he would end up doing later by where his big was helping, so he positioned himself. And just different things like that, just learning the nuances of the game and, like, how different systems flow into different things. You really develop a way of kind of how you want to attack and how to change how you attack based on personnel, right? And so where does that help you? I'm saying all this to say, where does that help you as an assistant coach? When I go do skill workouts, when we're in there, we call them the Batman hours, the Bat Cave hours, when we're in there at midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning, we're working on attacking those different things. And they're not hard workouts. They're mental sweat workouts.
Yeah, details.
Yeah, and so you're focused on little details, and then you can take what you learn from that to in the season. I got the best education I ever got in my life because we had every single year, there's 32 games in a college basketball season. In the preseason, each coach gets, you probably get 5 scouts, and then during the conference, you get 3 teams in your league. I learned so much more from scouting other teams. I knew other teams' playbooks better than our own. Partly it's because Scott would come up with like 15 different plays a game. But part of it was you spend so much time watching Mike Young, who's one of the most brilliant X and O guys I've ever seen in my life. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. And then you go against Bob Hoffman, who has – I was joking with Jake Hedrick the other day. Bob Hoffman, he won't use the same out of bounds play in the same 2 years. So, like, you do a scout on him, and you're like, yeah, we can pre-switch everything and take all this away, coach, because he ran it in the last 5 games, but they're going to do something they ain't ran in 2 years just because they want to. Like, it's that type of stuff that you don't realize goes into it that really helps educate you so that you can help your guys and you can learn and grow and develop. So really anything becomes boom, boom, boom. I can do it all on the fly. And I was lucky early in life because, I said it, Rick Pitino, somebody's going to have to tell me that he's not the greatest college basketball coach of all time. And somebody's really going to have to prove that to me. But Rick Pitino is the greatest college basketball coach of all time. Not including off the court stuff. On the court, he's the greatest. I literally grew up in Rick Pitino's practices. So I got an advantage that a lot of people didn't get by just being able to be around that. And I didn't even know that I was taking it in. I didn't intellectualize it, but I knew how to run a press and how defense shrinks the court and offense spreads the court by the time I was 9 years old. From watching guys like Tony Delk, Ron Mercer, Derek Anderson, the Scott Padgetts, Nazir Muhammad, like those dudes going at it in practice and him spazzing on them and teaching them. So I'd be scared to death. I'd be like, okay, don't pull away from the ball if you're on defense. Shrink the court and pull to the midline. So, okay, got it, coach. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everything else was just kind of the after effect of that. Sorry, that's my long-winded way of saying it. I care about this basketball stuff if y'all didn't know.
Hey, it got to mean something to you.
Yeah. But that's my long-winded way of saying, yeah, that's how you come up in it. You got to grind, you got to work, and the most important thing, you have to care about the players and the people. Because if you don't, what are you doing it for?
Man.
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing this? If we're not caring about the kids, if we in this for coaches' egos, man, you in the wrong business. You doing the wrong thing. If it ain't about lifting them kids up, and the sad thing is a lot of dudes are in it for the wrong thing. I caught myself at times caring about how it affected me in winning a game. We're talking about a stupid game. Caring about one game and like getting all upset at these kids over a game. And so like I had to check myself at the end of it, and it's my favorite quote and my favorite thing, and it's why we're doing what we're doing is it's not about what you are, it's about who you are. And when you figure out who you want to be and you do not deviate from that plan, good. But that takes a lot. It takes a lot of soul searching. And I've not always been the best at it. So all my former players and college guys, I've apologized to each of y'all individually via text sometimes. I love you guys. I'm sorry for some of the stuff.
That's funny, man. But man, like my old JUCO coach, Lord rest his soul, he used to say that to us all the time. He was an old guy. When I was there, when I first went there in 2018, 2019, and he was 71. So he was an old coach. Yeah, he had been in the game for a long time. He's in the Alabama JUCO Hall of Fame and stuff.
Is it Tommy Suits?
Yeah. Okay, you familiar? Yeah, I forget
Yeah.
you in Alabama. Everybody don't know who he is up here. So.
I know Tommy Sousa. He was a heck of a coach, man. Good dude.
Oh yeah.
Good dude.
Yeah, I love Coach to death.
Yeah.
But Coach kind of treat us like his grandchildren a lot of
Yeah.
times. So, which I love, I'm big.
Yeah.
I'm a family guy.
Yeah.
That meant a lot to me that he cared about us and stuff. He's still a good, great basketball mind, great coach, all of that. But he treated us like his grandchildren a lot. And I remember one day he was like, I done got old and soft. And he said, I done got soft in my old age because the players I used to coach back in the day, I used to cuss at them and yell at them for every little thing they did and all types of things. I wish I could go back and apologize to all of them. I used to feel, and I was like, Coach, I can't even see it. Like I just seen him get mad, obviously, and like get on our case about things, but I never seen him like the way he was describing himself. So I was like, man, I'm glad I missed that part of it because I came in at the right time. You old man Tommy now. You grandpa Tommy. So I came in at the right point in time. So I understand exactly what you're talking about. Just knowing, like as you get older, this is really what it's about. It's not even about me. It's about these guys. So I can see he figured that out.
Sometimes you got to take yourself out of the situation too, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really tough. It really is. And when you're living and you're saying my paycheck depends on this, my life depends on. No, I got a 9-year-old son. My son, every single night I come home, my son, he ain't care about one thing about a game. Not one thing. And what matters? Winning the game or seeing that little kid succeed and be happy. Or seeing our kids, our dudes that played at Sanford become great dads. Some of them that won the least games are the best fathers, the best men, because they cared and they worked and they bought in and they believed. If you handle that, the games and the winning stuff, that'll be a byproduct. The problem is coaches get 3-year contracts, right, in college basketball. Most of them get 3-year contracts. So you're saying by year 3, we got to have this. And so then are you making an investment in players or are you renting players?
That's bad business.
You feel me? Food. Kirk Franklin, I think, was talking about food tastes best coming out of the oven, not the microwave. And right now we live in a microwave society, and it's because it really starts at the top, right?
Yeah.
So coaches I get a 3-year I got to win in 3 years, and I'm fired. I'm out. I don't have a chance to renew this thing. So they go to get it quick. How am I build a relationship if I'm constantly recruiting over you? If I'm constantly saying B. Jones ain't good enough, we need a better point guard to come in next year. How am I actually investing in you? And I get it. Players make the world go round. Like, you need talent. You do. But you also have to build and invest relationships, or this whole thing, what are we doing it for? You're going to be out anyways because kids aren't going to want to be around you and they're going to transfer. When you transfer, you're not going to have any legitimacy or longevity within your program. It's just things like that it got to go into more account. And the truth is, coaches get paid way too much. College coaches do. They get paid so much. Coach basketball. Because the NCAA signed a contract for billions. So why shouldn't the coaches get paid more?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's all the way at the top.
So a lot of money. It's a business.
Nobody really wants to say that. I'm never getting back into it, so I don't care.
Wait, how, in your opinion, how could you, let's say you were getting back into it and you were like a head coach, how can you manage, like you just talking about, the relationships of building up the players versus like the quick turnaround, like the Kentuckys? They got guys, like you said, basically ran them for a year, and he is a pro guy anyway. He's not going to be here but 6-7 months. So how do you balance the long-term relationships with the short-term success needed to like make things work?
So I think the misconception is that a coach is a coach on the court and in practice. Your job as a coach is to coach life.
Yep.
And so, like, you come in here, I'm bringing you here saying that I believe in you. I have to invest in you as a person. And I don't mean, like, make sure you do your schoolwork so that you can get your GPA and stuff like that. I mean, man, let me teach you how to shop for groceries the right way. Let me make sure that your apartment's clean, not because I'm worried about the landlord or whoever charging you in that security deposit. But like, just let me make sure we teach you how to do things. Let me make sure that you know how to talk to a woman. Let me make sure you know how to be around children. Let me make sure that I have you over to the house to eat. Like, just things like that. And this is a great grand hypothetical because ain't nobody hiring Charles Newton to be a head coach at a Division I university. My number one thing I do, I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't even talk about winning games. I know that sounds crazy. I just get in the trenches and we would just build each other as a team and build culture and get these guys believing and fighting for each other. Because every single day is a fight for your culture. If you don't fight, and I mean, like, you got to fight it tooth and nail. You got to look for reasons to mess up so that you can run a suicide in practice as a coach. Like, you got to look for reasons to show the guys that you're in the trenches with them. Because we talked about earlier, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Like, they don't. So if we want to win games and all that, we got to believe in each other first. Because the talent level, the discrepancy ain't that big. You know what I mean? Like, it's really not. The difference in mid-majors and high majors right now is the size. Dudes are yoked up at that level. Skills, really all the same right now. Some dudes do it a little bit better than others, but it's not that big a difference. Mid-majors have more advantage if their kids don't get poached by high majors because they've got 4-year guys. St. Peter's, they got 4-year guys. You hear a different mid-major team every year. Well, those teams have seniors. But I wouldn't say one thing about winning games in the offseason. I wouldn't make it about what Wofford's doing, what Kansas is doing, what Duke's doing. I wouldn't make it about what any other team is doing. All that matters is who we are and what we do. And if we're this team, then we're going to be this team all day, every day. And you can't fake it because people, you can smell BS from a mile away. The gimmicks, the media stuff, no. Guys want to know, hey, do you got my back in my lowest? And the misconception is, have my back. Are you going to get me out of trouble? It's a misconception. Have my back means, are you going to know that it's 6 inches in a pat on the back and a pop on the rear end? You going to know when to get me right, or you going to know when to turn my life around? And a lot of guys need the latter. So that's what I do. I would just care about the dudes. I bring in guys that needed help, and I'd try to help them. I wouldn't enable, I'd help.
Yeah, that's a, I won't say a game changer thing, but it's like part of the difference that needs to happen because a lot of college coaching is more about like respect, but the respect is really a fear factor thing to where it's like either what I say or it's what I say, one way or the other. It's not what you want to have. And I was reading this book called Well Done. It was basically like a different way to communicate and like to like talk to kids basically about parenting or management to, you know, superiors, whatever. And it's like we base so much stuff off of fear and, like you said, nitpicking of what to do wrong. But really, if you can, like, not to be corny, but like focus on the positive, focus on the good that you want to happen. To like, if this person does a good job at doing this, highlight that thing that you want them to do rather than focus on the negative end of it. So don't focus on the mistake, focus on the positive that they do good at and keep building that up because over time, they're going to keep wanting that reward of what you just talked about. So, oh, he like when I did that. Oh, let me figure out how to do that more often. So now when you do correct them, it's 10 times easier to come down on them, but you're going to do it the right way and they'll take it as love rather than coaches coming down on me. Oh, man, I don't know what to do. So,
or show them the right way. Don't just tell them the right. What if I show it? What if I live it? What if every single day I live it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have a child. Here's the truth. Humans mess up every day. I mess up every day. And I get better every day because I mess up every day. If my 9-year-old son mess up, and I do get on him because that's part of parenting. But if I lose my mind on him, you know what's going to happen the next time he messes up? If he spills a Coke in his room and I lose my mind on him and it was an accident, what do you think is going to happen the next time he spills a Coke? Do you think he's going to tell me and I can clean it up, or do you think he's going to try to cover it up and hide it from me?
Hide it.
So that's not a real relationship.
Yep.
You correct the action, you educate, and then you move on. And then you know what you do? This is my favorite, and I wish I would have learned this when I was coaching at Stanford. you make mistakes and you openly admit your mistakes and you own your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because the God complex, well, I got this, I don't mess up. Man, that ain't true. Everybody messes up every day.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm acting like I don't ever mess up, then does that come off as genuine? No. Humility is a beautiful thing. It's taken me a long time to learn. I don't even have it figured out all the way. But I'm proud to say I mess up every day and I get better every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be pretty
That's
good
supposed to
one
be.
day because I mess up a lot.
That's supposed to be.
Yep. Yep. But that's life, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what better way to teach life than through a silly game where
That's
you
fun.
throw a leather ball in an iron rim?
I tell people all the time, like basketball that taught me more about life than
Yeah.
basketball. Like
Yeah.
it's a life lesson in everything. How to communicate with others, how to how to play with others, how to get along, how to have a boss and do what he asks you to do, how to get take discipline, things like that. It taught me more about life than life. So
Anything. You learn more in losses than wins.
Oh yeah.
exactly,
Like,
you got to know how
it's
to take an L,
God
Mm-hmm.
bless you,
but you
dude.
also got to know how to win.
Because in life, you playing with real live ammo.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the other misconception. So the misconception is that a loss is a loss. Yes, you want to win. Nobody plays a game to lose. You
Yeah.
want to win. But the real victory in it, so like if we lose 2 times to a team this year and we meet them in the tournament, the conference tournament, and we bust that head in, which one feels better? If we would just roll through them 3 times, or if we fought back, if we took an L and we fought back and we got it out the mud.
Mm.
That's what life is like. Nobody starts off on third for real.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta dig it out. You gotta hit the bases. You gotta hit first, then you gotta hit second, then you gotta get to third. Sometimes you're gonna get struck out. Sometimes you're gonna pop out. But you gotta keep going, man. And basketball is a beautiful game. It is. It's the only game where you get to hit the reset button every single play. I can turn the
That's
ball
true.
over here, but I gotta sprint back and hit the reset button down there.
Mm. Yeah.
And that's is beautiful for life. I kid when I was young, man. It's the greatest thing to ever happen to me, dude. He is. He really is. But at that time, that was scary. You
I
feel
mean,
me? It was scary. But if I would have just tanked it and be like, oh, I'm done. It's over. Not gonna go get to play professionally the way I want to. Gotta stay here, gotta get into this. No, that's the love it's my joy, man. It's everything. It's basketball helped me get through that. All them late nights, the early morning, fighting through
Mm-hmm.
stuff I didn't want to do, taking losses, then flipping them and turning them into dubs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had it's crazy. I had a girl one time, a lady one time tell me success isn't final and failure isn't fatal.
Mm.
Changed my life. Changed my life to this day. That is one of the realest quotes I've ever got. I get
Mm.
so down after losing. Like, man, it's over. It's over. I'm not dead. It's not over.
Yeah.
You get a dub. We're on top of the world. What happens if you go Khalid El Amin, UConn point guard, won the national
Mm.
championship with Rip Hamilton, failed a drug test, got caught smoking, couldn't go on the parade, really hurt himself with the NBA.
Mm.
that would have killed me, boy.
Mm.
Mm.
That's sad.
Success isn't final and failure isn't fatal, man.
Mm.
Truth. It keeps going. No matter what, it keeps going. Sorry,
Man.
man. I know I get into this stuff, man. This is
Hey, we're gonna let you have it.
it's my
Hey.
life, man. This is
We're gonna let you have it.
everything
I
to me.
understand. But you get into one of your questions. I'm like, we go back and forth with it. So you get one of your questions in.
Now let's go deep into like you said, how being a dad changed you. So like, what were like the thought process and like the learning curve that you had from as a player to a dad to a coach now as a businessman? Like, what were the lessons you learned from each like title change along the way?
Um, Man, I was a dad. I was a player first. Um, and it's sad to say, but even I, like, whose dad was in it, like, when you're a player, you're low key giving a lot.
Mm.
As long as you play your game, you don't really got to worry about this. Play your game, show up to school. You don't got to worry about this. You don't got to focus on this. Um, Becoming a father, I became a father like it's like father coach same time. Playing career ended, father coach. Um, Being a young father and a young coach was very hard. Uh, but in saying that, it wasn't because my kid was hard or the coaching was hard. It was me navigating and finding the balance and a healthy balance in not taking a loss home with you or not taking whatever you don't get a recruit home with you because you got the love of your life, a little baby boy sitting there that he don't care about none of that. He don't know you're a coach. He knows you go to the gym and your dada. And while he's grown up in basketball, man, being a dad is the greatest thing I've ever been. Like it will for my entire life. I'm choking up thinking about like being a dad is the greatest gift, and I screw it up every day. Every day I'm gonna screw something up with him. It's just the truth. But my only job on this earth is to make him better than me.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I do that, we're good. That's generational change. Um, Being going from coach to businessman, um, it's funny. Like I don't even really. It's sad to say I don't even really consider myself a businessman, even though we started our own business. And it's successful and it's awesome, and I've got a great. I got a great group of dudes that I'm entrenched with, and everything's we, us, our. It's not I, me, mine. It's not Newt's hoops. It's hoops. It's for the kids, for the culture, forever. But like being a coach, you still have to do everything within the organization. You have to do your scouts. You got to make sure dudes' academics are straight. You got to make sure dudes are living their life right. You got to get them in the gym. You got to prepare for games. You got to win games. You got to navigate recruiting, manage that. You got to make sure that everything's compliant, right? You got to make sure your recruiting, but not just your recruiting budget, depending on the roles your head coach gives you. You have to make sure your budget's good. Um, Running a business is low key the same thing. The only difference is literally every single thing. And you don't run a business; the business runs you first. If you really care about it and you really live it, like I'm
Yeah.
not running hoops. Hoops controls my life. We're gonna get off of here, and I'm gonna work on a website and learn how to build out a website and finish building out our website. I went to school. I graduated in 3 years with an interdisciplinary studies degree. Do y'all know what that means?
Nope.
Exactly. It don't mean I should be smart enough to design websites, right? But like you literally have to do everything. And I've been blessed because of the people I like that we work with and the guys that we're building this with, to where I've been educated along the way. But I mean, this isn't a business; it's a lifestyle. It's a
Mm-hmm.
it's a living. It's what we do, and that to me is like I'm entering this cool phase in my life to where like I've done things other people's way, and I felt like there was a while where I had to have a shaved face and I had to have my hair done a certain way and couldn't have tattoos on my arm and stuff. I couldn't do X, Y, and Z. But then I was like, bro, we failed at that. We got fired.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all don't nobody knows my dad's the AD that like got rid of our staff.
Mm-hmm.
So and he didn't fire me. He takes offense to it. He fired us. We
Yeah.
didn't perform. We didn't succeed. So we got fired. But in saying all that to say, like, you have to figure out who you want to be and the life that you want and what your impact on the world's going to be. And then you just got to go balls to the wall and then through it and you got to go get it.
Yeah.
And if you ain't hungry enough to go get it, you shouldn't be doing it. But if you hungry enough to go get it and you good enough to starve for a little bit and you good enough to, man, I ain't gonna be out there. Nobody's gonna see me for a year or two. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be figuring this out. I'm gonna get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you belong doing something. But if you're caught up in X, Y, Z, man, how am I gonna afford this? It's not it, bro. You got to be okay struggling. And I'm very fortunate to have a support crew and folks around me, and to get in with folks like from day one that really had my back in this. Dude named Sander Hennessy, man, straight up believed in this joke from the jump. And he didn't believe in it because we did something cool. He believed in it because I got on his son's butt. I set his son down. Never forget it. And his son like didn't know what he did. He's just an innocent kid, but it was an educational moment. And then when he realized that his son learned a life lesson, he was like, hold on. Who's this? And I got in with the right guys from the beginning. And then I'm lucky enough to have my son's the most flexible kid in the world. And one day I'm gonna share stories with him. Like he's gonna have a book to write. But that little joker, most kids, what do they do in the summer? Go to the pool,
Shoot.
kick it.
Yeah,
Video games,
That joker
TV.
in the gym with me from like 9 in the morning till 9 at night. He just started playing basketball in August. So he didn't really like basketball like that until now. That's a ride or die right there, man. Like I'm just blessed. And it's not, the funny thing is people always talk about what I do for other people, and I don't think people realize what they do for me. They don't realize the energy and the life that they give me. Because this couldn't keep going. If we didn't have some of the parents we have involved with this, these little jokers, these kids that show up with a smile on their face, happy to get to work, like that kid right there, shoot, my dad's been in my corner the whole time. Like, this wouldn't work. So being a businessman is more of a lifestyle, I'd say, especially if you own it and you take ownership in everything, and you got to be willing to own your failures too. It's the toughest thing I ever did. It's the most fun thing I've ever done.
You speaking my language, man. Like everything you just said, just like, yep, gotta learn this too. Like the website, dang, you gotta figure that out, man. This, and you gotta figure out how to do a podcast, what site to get it on, how to do this, how to do that. It's just like we talked about before we got on. It's like a learning process that never ends, bro. It's like,
not if you're doing it right.
Yeah. And then like not even including like the whole, like the actual part of training and coaching. Like forget that. It's like, oh my, just the business part. Like how to do content on social media, do it consistently. It's like two separate worlds that you almost have to do. And then forget the third world of actually being a human being and being like a person. Like it's just so much to make. It's like, it's a lot, bro. But like you said, it's a lifestyle. And like if you can't enjoy the ups and the downs, the lefts and the rights, and everything that's tied into it, it's a whole different thing. Like now I'm at a point where I encourage people to not do this, because you got to be built for it. And like, you want to be entrepreneur?
Don't do it.
Go ahead and get your real job at a restaurant, whatever. Just go that way, because it's stressful, but it's a blessing. Like you said, like it's about the kids, man. Because I'll be having a terrible time, a terrible day. Like, man, should I cancel this session today? Man, I don't know, man. But I think about letting them down. I'm like, I can't do that to them. So I go to the gym, man. I with them. They end up turning my life around. I'm like, man, I had a good day just because of you, man. So everything you just said is just like, you just got to co-sign on that, man. Yeah.
B, I know about you. I'm sorry. I know this is y'all's podcast and y'all get to ask questions. Nelson, man, how you get into all this, dude?
What do you mean? You like the podcast?
Well, shoot, everything you're doing right now. Can we hear your story and how you get into everything, dog? I want to hear. Can I know that you guys are the ones who ask questions. Can I ask the question? Because I respect you guys.
I appreciate it, but I mean, I don't know. Like the basketball part of it is like, just grinding and putting the work in, and never stopping. And I'm the kind of guy that like I'm good with being a star in my role. Like I've been like that since high school. I played high school with a guy that could score, and like my coaches wanted to make him be the scorer, so I did what I do. which is, shots, rebound, I run the floor, I score when I can. And so I've kind of been living my life that way. Like, I'm going to be a star, whatever role that I'm given. So it's one of them things basketball taught me. So it's like, okay, like, I grew up in church. Hey, Nelson, we need you to come in early and help set up chairs. All right, I got you.
Oh, that's elite.
I got you. 4 in each hand, so let's do it. That's me though. Like, I'm a kind of guy. No, that's kind of how I live my life. I'm a star in my role, and like now I'm to the point where, I'm kind of getting to the point where it's like, hey man, we need you to be more than a role player. Like, hey, we need you. Like, next year you got to be the guy. So now I'm learning how to do that, and so, but like how I got into being on a podcast. I've been a player all my life, obviously, but. B, started doing the training thing a long time ago. Me and Brian are cousins. I don't know if he's ever told you that. Like, me and him are actually related. Like,
no, man, I know things like Brian going from, I don't know, I'm not gonna put your business out too deep, but like I know things from like Brian being like, man, shoot, I got to get it in late night tonight. I got work. I'm done at Chick-fil-A at X time, so I can go over there. So he's literally grinding out, like whatever 9-hour shifts and then going to the gym. That's
all you know.
Not to toot his own horn too much, but I know the dude who literally grinds to support his work and his.
But that's something I admire about
B.
Yeah, that's something I admire about him because I'm the kind of guy that grinds. I'm gonna grind it out. Like, I'm gonna put the work in. I tell my coach every day, I'm gonna put the work in for whatever I want. I'm gonna put the work in, and that lets you know how much I care about it. But one day, I don't even remember when it was. Like, it was like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas. Like, we was all together. And Brian was me and Brian, we were talking. Like, we good to, like, whenever we got together, we was going to talk basketball at some point.
Yeah.
Like, and so I remember he just was like, he had his YouTube and everything. And, he was already doing the training and the business. So one day, so one of those get-togethers, he was like, you ever thought about starting a podcast? And I was like, no, I ain't never thought about that. I've never thought about that. Like, a podcast, like, I know what a podcast is, but what is it really? Like, we just record ourselves talking? Like, I've never thought about doing that. He said, man, I think you'd be good at it. You're very outspoken. You like, we talk basketball all the time anyway. It's really just us doing what we're doing now.
Yeah.
On the platform. Like, we put it out for other people to hear. And I was like, I mean, will people really listen to us talk like how we talking now? Like, we just talk basketball. I feel like that's nothing. He was like, trust me, man. People like love stuff like this. People would listen to this. We actually have, like, you're a player, you're a college player, I'm a trainer. That could be our thing. That's our dynamic. And then you outspoken, you're more funny, you be good with words. He was like, you could be like, Stephen A, Shannon Sharp type. And he was like, I'm more analytical and more, reserved. He said, I'm more of the not Skip or Max. Like, he's definitely not that. But like, I'm more of the reserved type, like kind of like an Ernie Johnson type guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like Shaq, he like Kenny. Like, we both know the game, but like, I'm more of the, for lack of a better word, I'm the funny guy. I'm like the, I can throw the joke in there here and there. And be more of the analytical, like, let me run to the board, show y'all what's going on kind of guy. And so that's kind of where it took off from. And when he was telling me about it in that way, I was like, maybe I will listen to that. So
that's a great job. I never watched a podcast, listened to the podcast until I saw him doing. I was like, hold on, B's doing what? Hold on, man. Let me check out and see what this is. And I was like, this is actually like just the homies.
No, that's what it is. That's kind of what we want.
It's the homies.
Yeah.
Like, you can take little nuggets from me. Like, I ain't never look at it that way.
Exactly. Right.
Like, I never think that Russell Westbrook would be considered Michael Jordan.
Man.
I had to. I'm sorry. I had to.
Hey, I knew it was coming at some point. I was waiting on it.
That's the first thing I said when we talked to each other today.
Exactly. Like, but I enjoy that. I appreciate that you get on, like, and ask me about it, like something that I said that let me know that you, number one, that you listened to it, and number two, you didn't hear it, you listened, like you actually knew and remember something.
Phenomenal job. Y'all really did. I got to give y'all the credit. Like, y'all do a really good job. Anybody can say that a celebrity does a good job at doing it, but to actually take on and doing something when you don't already have a name, like y'all are doing a really good job, guys. Just so y'all know, I wouldn't have agreed to come on here unless I thought y'all were doing a really good job. So
Man,
kudos to
appreciate
you
that.
guys. I got to give y'all a lot of credit because y'all are doing a phenomenal job.
Appreciate that, man. That means a
I know
lot. And look,
this is probably your longest episode ever. I'm the worst.
oh, you good,
Nah,
man.
nah, you good,
No,
man.
definitely. Like it's not the longest, trust me. But you know, we gonna ask you a couple more questions to get out of there. And then let me also throw that out there. This is the BeBall Jones podcast. Also, like this is Brian's. Like Brian asked me to be on. This is already his platform. I always throw that out there. Like this is the like we're like hold on, where is that? I gotta use this hand. The BeBall Jones
Oh
podcast.
yeah, I was messed that up, man. It's been throwing me off so much. I'm like,
Yeah,
Yes,
we
well.
had our little
Yes, well.
adjustment period too.
yeah,
Yeah.
But this is the B-Ball Jones podcast with Nelson Haskins. So that lets you know, like, this is his platform. This is his business. His, you know, he's the entrepreneur. I'm like the funny guy that plays basketball. He brought on. I'm the Shaq. He the Ernie Johnson. Like, if you ever watch NBA on TNT, Shaq ain't never got no papers.
no,
Ernie
exactly.
got all the papers. He know what's going on. He know the order. He know what we talking about. That's B. I'm
Yeah.
Shaq. Hey, I get on. I argue with Chuck. Hey, and you know, I go home. I throw out my couple nuggets because I got what do you say, G1 classification.
Yeah,
And
G14.
yeah, that was it. I got G14 classification. I can say certain things. I can bring up certain things, and that's what I do. So I have fun with that. I enjoy it. So it's what we do. And then we get to have guys like you come on here and tell your story, and I enjoy hearing that. And like it's all fun for me.
That's what's
So,
up, man.
so another question that I have for you to get back on you because it's your interview.
Oh, my
Exactly.
bad.
Another question I have for you. So you went from being a videographer at Sanford, right? And then you got
Yeah.
moved up to assistant coach. So talk to me about that. Tell me, how did that feel? Like, did you feel validated, appreciated to go from video guy to being on the bench assistant coach?
Man, so I was actually on the bench as the video guy. I can say this now because we ain't there no more. Man, I was working dudes out when I was a video coordinator. I ain't never been off of the court or out of doing that.
Okay.
So that was really how I got into being an assistant coach. Was Scott saw my grind and me working with the dudes and knew, all right, he doesn't actually just talk it, like he knows what he's doing. And I was involved heavily in the scouts. I really cared about that, and I really wanted to learn and wanted to grow. It was one of the greater feelings I've ever had in my life. I, Kristen Cunningham and Darius Jones Gibson committed before I was an assistant coach. I recruited them before that, and we had this relationship before that. One of the coolest feelings of my life is sitting in the locker room at the Pete Hanna Center and Scott kind of addressing the team and addressing changes we're going to have. And he's like, and just so y'all know, dude's going to be an assistant coach with us. And like all the dudes got hyped. Like that was one of the dopest feelings ever. And then it was like, can't cuss on here, can you?
Nah,
No,
keep it
we
clean.
would not. Yeah, kids watch this.
It was like, holy smokes,
Yeah.
what do I do now? It's
Yeah.
like, what does this mean? What do I do? So then it was like back to learn on the fly. You had to learn. Recruiting ain't just, hey, I like how you play. Hey, this is Sanford University. Come here, blah, blah, blah. It's you write out your roster 3 years down the line. You write out positions year by year. And then you go in and fill in gaps and fill in holes. You go to an event and you watch games from like 8 in the morning to I think they shut the gym down about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And if you miss a game, you're going to miss a kid. So you don't miss games during that time. And initially you go in and it's like you're in a pool this big. You guys can't see my arm. You're in a pool this big. And then as you see the kids, it gets like this. And then as you learn about their families, it gets like this. And then as you see their grades, it gets like this. And then as you see how they handle their teammates and coaches, it gets like this. And then as your other assistants go see them, it gets even tighter. The crazy thing to learn is navigating within a staff, navigating with the other assistant coaches, navigating with egos. Because if I get a kid and you don't get a kid, and we're recruiting a kid at the same position, like navigating that. And we were lucky enough to have a guy like Jake Hedrick who educated us early on, and like Scott did a good job of making sure that the culture was right within the staff. If your culture is right within your staff, you're good. When egos are involved, it's set up for failure. But if everybody really wants each other to eat and everybody wants each other to win, you're going to be good. Our best recruiting classes, the most fun I had as an assistant, was when we would all take turns recruiting each other's kids for the other guy. We would take our pool of kids, we would all watch them together. Couldn't have any ego on it. And none of them were our kid, they were coach's kid. Because none of them would play for us. They played for coach.
Facts.
And we would take turns and be like, hey, man, I'm going to go recruit. I'm going to go follow Shark this summer. I got you, Jake. Jake found him. Unbelievable job. Found Josh Sharkey. I got you. I'm going to follow him this summer. I got you. We got each other. So that when Shark gets there, if you're a really good assistant coach at a mid-major school, low major, whatever you want to call it, you're going to have job offers in the next few years. So if the only reason why a guy comes to Sanford is for one assistant coach, what happens if that assistant coach gets another job? They have no relationship with anybody else on the staff. What happens if one dude specializes in this, but I'm really good in teaching you how to be a dad. I'm really good in loving on you off the court. He's really good and he's a fun dude. He's this dude, but I got you. You want to come home and have a home cooked meal. Jake, I wasn't married. I'm not married. Jake had a wife. Tommy, you want to cook for them something? They need a woman's touch around. Scott was the best at having Cynthia love on the guys. Like, everybody brings something to the table, but you have to drop your ego. And long story short, again, it was really cool to get the nod. It was really cool, but really scary at the same time because I didn't want to screw up.
Well, I understand that feeling, but
yeah,
when you get that upgrade in position, like it's been that way when we playing. Like you get put into a new role, and it's like, hey man, now you did this, but that doesn't even matter no more. We need this now. It's like,
And the funny thing was, everybody thought that my dad being the AD, man, my dad told Scott not to bring me up.
Dang.
My father told my boss not to put me as an assistant coach. And I love my dad. My dad loves me to death. That's my best friend in the world. It wasn't out of lack of respect, didn't think I could do it. It was more like, hey, man, that ain't a good look. This guy's like Martin. He's got our starting backcourt right here, and he's really good. And I got to give Scott credit, man. Scott Padgett, I owe the world to Scott Padgett. He really had, like, he stepped up and had my back. And for that, I would forever do anything for Scott. Easily. And again, Martin Newton is my best friend in the world. That is my dog. He's educated me and helped me so much in life. But I was scared because I knew people were going to say, oh, he only got that because of this. I'd heard growing up sometimes, man, oh, he only got a Division I scholarship because he's CM Newton's grandson. Don't nobody care about CM Newton at that point in life. Like nobody gives out 30. I got your back on that. Nobody's giving out $30,000 scholarships because his grade. No, they're trying to win games. So it's you had that fear and you doubt yourself a good bit, but all that came from just not being confident in self and not knowing who I wanted to be, just chasing what I wanted to be.
Man, speaking of you folks, man. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm out of questions, B. So it's all you. Heard everything I need to hear.
Yeah, speaking of you folks, man. Getting ready for this interview, Doug, did a little research and stuff. I understand you so much more by knowing your dad and granddad, like doing the little stuff that I saw. Like you talked about how he was granddad's the Basketball Hall of Fame. He was at Kentucky. He he was the first to integrate the first black coach for men's and women's, and all the stuff that he was doing. I'm just like,
They
okay,
brought
then
the
looking
first
at you,
black athlete to the University of Alabama,
that's crazy
Wendell
too.
Hudson. And the truth is all that the Hall of Fame stuff. Man, my grandfather made $9,000 as the head coach of Alabama.
Mm.
That's
It
crazy.
ain't about. It's about legacy and what you're trying to build, and what we are doing now. My whole mission. It's on my Twitter and everything. The reason why I do what we're doing right now, I want to desegregate Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take Birmingham from this OTM split over here, Mountain Brook here, Homewood here, Vestavia here. And you go through the mountain, and it's the rest of Birmingham, and don't nobody really care about that. I want to break down that. And there are three ways you can really desegregate people and create generational change to bring people of all different walks of life together is food, music, and sports. I can't cook. I dang sure can't sing, dance, any of that. I can dance. I know sports. I can build a gym to get everybody together.
Yeah.
And my grandfather started something special because his whole thing was how do we create generational change?
Mm-hmm.
And Hoops is a business and it will take money to do it without a doubt. All I care about is in 50 years, we have kids living out the 7 core values that we believe in, and these little pods and these little communities, everybody's together. Because it's not right. And the crabs in a bucket mentality is going to keep holding people back.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather saw it way back when.
Mm-hmm.
It's progressed slowly here. Excuse me, Siri. I'm sorry, baby. And we can take it to a whole new level.
Mm-hmm.
But we talk about legacy. And yeah, my grandfather's in the office. My father he does an unbelievable job as an AD. Great for Nike for the time he was there. One of the things I pride most is that they made me get out the mud and I got no favors. But it's the legacy of changing lives and what was instilled in me, not done for me, that I'm most appreciative of. And that's the thing that having CM Newton as my grandfather, because that motivates me every day, every single day. Because he wasn't doing it to say, I'm seeing it. And that was a byproduct of him caring about people. Leon Douglas, Wendell Hudson, T.R. Them dudes loved my grandfather because my grandfather was for them and for change. And I don't want guys just to be there to hug me after we win a game. Man, when I'm 6 feet under, I want those dudes living on the legacy and the mission. And then the kids living it on. And when we do that, then we'll be successful. We ain't had the success yet. Talk to me in 5 years when we've broken down all these barriers.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what I care about. Talk to me when we have guys like this, like we all in here together, and you ain't thinking about, man, he's from here, he's from there. Mm. That's what this is. That's why we're doing it. Basketball is just a tool. That's all we're doing. We're just using it. Mm-hmm. And I promise Birmingham is going to be changing, and the state of Alabama is going to be changed. For good. Not for winning a game. We're going to teach kids that love stands for living on valued energy. If you either want to be the shower head or the drain. We're going to teach kids, number 2, that discipline means focus on the little details. 3 is pride. It stands for personal responsibility and daily effort. Everything I do, I go 110%. 4 is have fun, because what's the point of doing something you don't got fun doing it? 5 is be a player, not a robot. Same thing for life. We're doing a podcast right now because y'all didn't want to just stick with the norm thinking nobody's going to listen to you. So you stepped up and you stepped out of your zone and you were a player. Coach draws up a play and you're wide open in the basket. What you going to do, Nelson? You going to shoot it or you going to run the play?
Shoot it.
Yeah. 6 is drop your ego because ain't nobody getting better together if we have ego. And then 7, this is the biggest one ever, is leaders eat last. Mm-hmm. Servant leadership. Name one of those things that say go dunk a ball, go get 20 points, any of that. All 7 of those things have to do with winning in life. All 7 of those things can create generational change. Every single kid that comes through hoops and comes through our program has to memorize it. B, you've been to our stuff. You've heard the kids yell them out.
Yep.
Every single kid has to know all those because that's what matters. Dude. Scoring comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the stuff that my grandfather put in my dad.
Yeah.
My grandfather put it into me, and my dad put it into me. And that's the stuff, I picked up a few things from other guys, and that's, you talk about seeing, it ain't the Hall of Fame coach, creator of the game, it's the Hall of Fame grandfather.
Mm.
My dad, I don't know if he'll be in the Hall of Fame ever, I doubt, just because of the politics and the way it looks. My dad's a Hall of Fame dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a Hall of Fame grandfather to my kids. He's a Hall of Fame person to the kids at Sanford. That's what it's about.
Hey, set them out for it, but
yeah. So that's really what I care about. The basketball's cool, it's fun. I like the homie, but like
basketball's cool.
It is. It's cool.
It's cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a tool,
Yeah.
though.
No, you absolutely right. It's not the end all be all.
No, man. That's what we're going to use to help people. We're going to bridge the gap with these kids in these communities. But it's a tool. It's fun. It's awesome. It's so much. It's entertainment. But we're not playing a finite game. We are playing an infinite game.
Yeah.
Finite game, the buzzer goes off and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
You want to play to keep playing. I ain't going to be able to dribble past shoot forever. Kids aren't. The kids can affect each other in a positive way forever.
Mm-hmm.
Generations, they can be changed forever. We can break down barriers and burn them. It starts with us.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's good, man. That's good stuff. That's great.
It's real. It's what it is.
I enjoy it. It's absolutely real. I play with a lot of guys out of the Birmingham area, especially in JUCO. So, like, I see what you mean and what you're talking about. And, I enjoy playing with those guys because, like, I feel like we was very different when we got there. All of us was hooping, but we was all very different,
Yeah.
And so it's cool to know that you would like to bridge those gaps that some of the Birmingham people, like not Birmingham people, the Birmingham area has. Like they just it's a subconscious thing. It's not always something they realize is happening or people realize is happening, but it's happening. So it's good that there are people that are actively trying to do something about it.
What we said earlier, you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know.
Exactly.
I'm not from here, so what better person to come in and say, hey guys, I rock with all y'all. I love you guys over here in Inslee, you guys out here at Center Point. I rock with you guys over at MLK, rock with you guys in Mountain Brook. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Y'all are crabs in a bucket right now.
Mm.
Everybody can eat. Everybody can help each other. Everybody should be together. Because when you hit that real world, you're playing with live ammo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for funsies no more. You go and act a certain way at college like you're better than somebody else. You're going to find out what real life is like.
Mm-hmm.
Better way to educate those who don't know, those who are in certain areas that ain't never seen the type of wealth and the houses and the lifestyle that's there in Mountain Brook or Homewood or just anywhere we can say. What better way to show them that there's a way to get there other than to show them where it is and what it looks like? And then better way to show these kids over here there's a whole other side to life. And not everything's sweet. And not everything's given to you. And mommy and daddy can't save you.
Mm-hmm.
Other than show them. And then you learn how to treat people with respect. And kids are better than adults. Because kids, man, they're so open-minded and go to each other with open hearts. It's ridiculous. I wish I could live like a kid every day.
Yeah.
No, for real.
Kids love holy. They do. And that's what we can change it with. So it's my spill on where we're at and what we're doing. There was one more question I wanted to ask me. It's about Nebraska. Beating Nebraska.
Yeah. That was
did want to know what it was like to beat Nebraska.
That was turn.
I bet it was.
Hey, boy, we ran this play called Horns Down. So, right, we had a kid named Wyatt Walker. So, on that team, though, you got to understand, we had Kristen Cunningham, who graduated. Now, I do have one more thing I want to touch on after this. But who graduated and transferred to Louisville. Wyatt Walker graduated, transferred to NC State. Both of them started there next year, just so you guys know. And we had Matt Rose, who killed that game. Trying to think of who else played really well that game. I can't even think. Darius Gibson played really well that game. But we ran this play called Horns Down, and it's similar to what Golden State does, where they hit high post and then they have the pin down option. But, man, this boy Wyatt Walker, he was a point forward that game and cut them up. And we just stayed in it and laughed the entire second half. And that's all we do. We're like, all right, Horns Down. See you. Have fun. And Scott was so good that he taught the guys, and we would do our individual instruction off of making reads. If a guy top blocks it, you dive back door. If they overplay the back door, we got you coming off the handoff. Wide, if they sink off you, shoot it. It was unbelievable. And it was cool because it was right before Christmas. And so if you ever pay attention to the high major, mid-major games right before Christmas, somebody get knocked off. Because the high major kids are like, man, I'm trying to go home. And the mid-major dudes are looking at like, shoot. We go get this one right here. But it was a lot of fun. It was awesome. It was really cool for the guys. Because that was a turning point in our program.
Games like that can be. Like, it can be for guys.
Where guys started to believe, and they were like, all right, we with you.
We got something.
Yeah, we got something here. All right. And then next year we had a 20-win season. And then we had some injuries, and guys ended up transferring to high majors. That was what I was going to touch on. Like, people always think that you're twisted over a guy transferring. To coaches that get mad at guys for transferring to high major, from a mid-major to a high major. Here's my question. I'm the coach at Stanford University. And for Kristen Cunningham's sake, I'm going to say this. Louisville offers me the head coaching job.
Probably going to take it. Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, you can't be mad at guys for advancing.
What am I getting mad at you for?
Right.
The kid, he chooses to go to Florida over Stanford. I feel you, bro.
I go to Florida too. Man, what we talking about?
We can't get twisted on that.
Yeah.
That's it. I just want to clear the air on that because I still love Kristen Cunningham to death, and we don't even talk much, but he's a coaching at Louisville now. He's doing an unbelievable job. I think straight up, and I think he's going to be a star in that business. I mean, a star. C actually cares about kids, and C's really good. And what made him so great as a player, it wasn't just because he was athletic and he was skilled. C's brilliant, a brilliant basketball mind. I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. Y'all holler at me in 10 years when Kristen Cunningham is the head coach running the show for a Division I college program and succeeding at a high level. If that's what he chooses to do. He's so smart, he could go be an accountant at a Fortune 500 company, a CFO or something. So, things like that, I don't know why I'm even bringing that up, but just love your guys, man, no matter what. No matter who they play for, love your guys. Your guys are your guys.
That leads me to my next question. Who is somebody, whether it's like a fellow coach that you know of, a kid you train or kid you know of that's just underrated, that's just not getting the attention that they should get, but right now is your opportunity to give them a little shine that they should have? It can be a college player, a college coach, somebody that you know, don't know, whatever.
That's threefold low kid. I'm not even trying to gas you up. I'm going to say you're one of them. I think you're phenomenal at what you do. I think that it doesn't get seen because you're not a hype dude. You're more substance. You really dive in and you really talk about and you get intellectually deep with the players, and like you do those things where like they're doing shooting workouts, and you talk to them like, all right, so now why did you miss that? And most guys, myself included, like we run small groups so that we can maximize the kids that we want in there. And now we do individual stuff and do attention to detail, but like I'd say you're one of them because you don't come from the pedigree. You're really getting out the mud right now, and that's not appreciated. But don't worry, we're building a gym right now, and we're gonna be training kids out of there, so it will be appreciated very soon and put on light. I just mentioned Kristen Cunningham. I think, and he's getting some love, but I think Kristen's going to be a star, an absolute star. And then out of the kids, man, there's so many of them that I think are going to be great. It just ain't been their time yet to be great. They be molded right now. If I got a shout to call one of shoot, it's like asking a dude that has a bunch of kids which one he loves more. Man, that's tough. That's tough. That's a really tough one.
You want to show love to everybody.
I mean, you do, but like, I mean, like Quay Lynch as an 8th grader averages 18 a game at Winona High School on the varsity team. Mm-hmm. So I said Winona. Excuse me.
Woodlawn, yeah,
Woodlawn High School. Excuse me, I apologize. At Woodlawn, so like he's getting love, but like that kid's gonna be a Division I basketball player. Mm-hmm. Straight up, I'll stamp it right now. He's following his big cousin's Kavion Nolan, who just finished playing at Jacksonville in Florida, and was cold. I say Quay is going to be phenomenal. There's a kid named Charlie Hartman that's rising 7th grader.
Charlie.
I love
Charlie, man.
Ryder McMakin. Ryder is tall, so he gets played at the big a lot. But Ryder's really a .2 guard.
Yeah.
And then one kid, I don't know whatever's going to come of it. His name's William Davis, but I call him Smooth.
Smooth.
He shows up and just does the right thing every day. Yeah. He's going into the 5th grade, and literally the kid's never had a bad day.
Yeah.
Like, ever. And then, man, selfishly as a dad, I'm going to call Charlie Newton now. My son, Bubby Newton. Bubby, man, I ain't never met a more resilient kid in my life. Like, and he's my best friend, and he's 9. I have conversations with him that I'd never have with most grown men. Like, he is my best friend, everything. So I'm going. The kids, all the kids, I love you guys. I do. All of y'all are special in your own way. But I'm saying B. Jones, Kristen Cunningham, Andrew Barber doesn't get enough credit for everything. He wears so many hats. Andrew Barber believes in everything you do, and that is the most loyal person I've ever met. Like, Barber is 10 toes down loyal. Yeah, that's probably who I'm going to rock with on that. Put me on the spot.
Hey, man. For real. Man. First off, I appreciate that, man. That wasn't the point of that question, but, I appreciate it, man. So,
man, that's earned.
Yeah.
That's earned. Y'all can tell by now, if I don't believe it, I ain't saying it.
I definitely can tell.
Like, it's just facts.
That's right. I'll rock with you, man, because I ain't got time for the extra stuff. Yeah, it's
dog.
Yeah. So let's get some promotion going here. Let's get some business stuff, man. Talk about hoops and everything you got going on with that.
So we low key been. I'm a big work in the dark. Show the world what's up. Big, you've seen where we train out of and where we work out of. We've gone to Willowwood
MLK Rec Center and Avondale United Methodist Church, and we won't go to any gym that's over the mountain because we're trying to bridge gaps in communities, not help the rich get richer. So we are building a facility right now, 798 Montclair Road. It does not have a Mountain Brook address. It has a City of Birmingham address because we are wanting to promote the City of Birmingham and make it for everybody. It's going to be a 2-court facility. We're going to be running camps this July. We're going to be running leagues. We're going to have a fall league. It'll be done September 1 is the opening date. This is 2 years in the making, everybody. 2 years of grinding, sweat equity, finding the spot. We've got a great team of investors, great team of people, and literally this is for everybody. I will never coach a team again in my life because I want to help everybody. And if anybody thinks that this is a ploy, all we are trying to do is we're trying to create generational change through Birmingham and then hit the whole state of Alabama. We want to make kids better people, and we want to build a better future. And it starts with us, and it starts now. You can check us out at alabamahoops.net. You can reach me. Our Instagram is 205hoops. Come hit us, see what's up, see what we're about, and we're all in for the community and for the people. That's all we want to do is build this up for everybody. This isn't about me. This isn't about an individual. This is about for the kids, for the culture, it's forever.
Yeah. And that's why I'm with you, man, because before we got together, I was just kind of like I was telling Nelson one day, it's like, man, the hoop scene down here is like just, it's bad, just like low-level hoops. But then, like you said before, like the city of Birmingham and Alabama whole has the crab and the barrel mentality.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not trying to be the guy that changes Alabama basketball because that's dumb and impossible. But I can play a little part and chip in my piece of doing this. It's like, okay, what can I do? All right, with these kids that I'm training, let me figure out how to do this. Okay, I could branch out a little bit bigger by doing a podcast and doing this and doing that. Then you came along. I saw you at one of the tournaments, whatever. You're like, man, that's what I'm doing here. Da da da. Got the court going. I'm like, oh, I can skip these next 5 steps and just, oh man, sign me up, man. I've been tired. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
So then like it's like that's cool, but like the missing of what you're talking about, it's just like, man, like desegregating everything and figuring out how to get the kids better. It's like that's really why I'm here. Like it's a blessing to have the gym and everything because I had a gym situation got messed up, went left. You know, been trying to figure stuff out on my own, but then you came along. I'm just like, man, I appreciate that. But like bigger than that, it's just like the message of getting the kids straight. So like that's really why we're here together and like going forward with how we're doing it. So that's you know, I love that, man. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, it's gonna be special, man. It's all love. I mean, you're gonna get better. The training and the skill level, that's second to none. But it's about building each other up and everybody eating and not having egos and really what's doing right for the kids. And putting on premier, not just events and tournaments, but having a league where everybody's accepted. There should never be a league where kids are ousted or not allowed to play because of where they live.
Mm-hmm.
We should have everybody in together. Training shouldn't be limited because of politics with playing time. Training should be, man, we all need to get better. We're all in here together. We're all humans. Yeah. And at the end of the day, people support people. We all going to need each other in the end. Mm-hmm. It ain't about money. It's not about X, Y, and Z. It's not about egos. Not about social media posts. Not about any of that. But we're going to use that to build our brand to help people.
Yeah.
And that's all we need. The people. Y'all come in, you got a home. And we got you.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
Nelson, come back and play in the Pro-Am next summer, baby.
Pro-Am?
Come on, man.
Hey.
We're going to have Pro-Ams. We're going to have high school leagues, middle school leagues, elementary little kid leagues. We're going to have boot camps for tryouts. We're going to have elite camps. We're going to have live camera feeds in there so that we can stream the games live and then so kids can get exposure because most kids can't even get their name out there. We're going to use all the connections I had in college to help some of these high school guys get recruited and seen in ways they've never been seen. We're going to have, when the NCAA tournament's in Birmingham next year, I know a guy that's on the NCAA selection committee now. My dad and
Shout out to
they
Dad.
may not be using the facility. We're gonna have the squadron in there. We're gonna be training all our pros out of there. It's gonna be the spot for basketball. We just need the people to understand. Look, there ain't no ulterior motive. We got open arms to you. Come on in. Hit us up and see what we're about. If you don't like it, cool. We still want you to eat. You just choose not to eat at our table. But if you want to spot at the table, come on. Let's eat. Let's go together.
Man,
Yeah.
hey, it's tempting. Hey, I'm trying to be pro next year, man. Like, you know, I had my opportunities this year, but you know,
Take that trying out.
Take
that trying out. Take that trying out.
Oh, my bad. I'm gonna be a pro next
That's
year.
right there.
Man, I had my opportunity this year, but you know, money wouldn't have been worth it compared to, you know, coming back from my 5th year from my COVID year. So I decided to do that, and so here I am. But I'm gonna be a pro next year, trying to, you know, going to make some good money. That's the plan. So I'm interested. You might have one right here, so I'm trying
Come holler
to
at us, man. Come on down this summer. Shoot, we're running our Elite Academy stuff this summer out of Sanford at night. We got guys coming. Yeah. We call it the Elite Academy because it's pros and college guys.
Yeah, we kind of have that here right now. Like, we got a lot of guys in Columbus that are pros and college guys. They're the only ones allowed out. That's really where I was at before I got on here. We have runs every night, but
ain't nothing like them college run night. Boy, I bet you so tired right now. It's
I'm
10:40. Woo!
Yeah, I'm dog. It's 11 over here, so yeah. So in Georgia, it's a little later. So, but it's good runs.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's good runs. You know, it's worth it. So, and playing against pros and other guys that play in college, and I'm a defensive guy, so I'm guarding the better guys, and it's like, man. And then, you know, I got my coach in my ear like, hey, man, you ain't scoring the ball. And I'm like, I was just guarding a pro down there. I don't know if you saw it. He's pretty good. The guy on the other end.
He's not bad.
Yeah, he's not a bad player at all. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So, I mean, I wish I had time to just, you know, shoot the Birmingham, come back. But next summer, though, you might have you one.
You got a spot.
Yeah, man. Sounds good to me, man. But B, is there anything else you wanted to ask my boy before you get out of here?
Man, we can keep going all night with this, man. So
no, we could. I can see.
For sure, we could.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna respect everybody's time here, and we can end it right there, man. So that's it for me.
All right, Coach. So, man, like, once again, we want to tell you thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. We appreciate what you're doing, what you got going on over there in Alabama. And me and B, we do it a lot. We love the Bama guys. Like, we bring up Bama guys a lot and Bama products. And you gonna be part of the process that makes a lot of Bama products. So that's something that's big for us, man.
You guys, Tom, it means a lot. I told you guys, I really respect what you guys are doing. Don't stop. Keep going. If I can ever help, y'all let me know.
For sure, man. It means a lot. But that does it for another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. We appreciate you guys for listening. Hope y'all got some out of the talk and enjoyed some of the stories of Coach Newt here, man. It's been a good one. I enjoyed it. I know Brian enjoyed it. I enjoyed just watching y'all. Y'all was talking for a little bit. I was like, man,
that's
these
my
guys.
dog right there.
I was like, these guys are cool.
You got a decade in. That's my dog.
Man, I already know it. But, man, thank y'all once again. Please, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Leave some questions for Newt if you got any. I'm sure we'll get it to him. If y'all got questions for him, we'll get it to him. So we'll let you know what he said. But be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to follow Brian on all social medias at BeBall Jones. That's BeBall Jones on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on TikTok. So y'all go be sure to follow him on there and like up a couple of the videos he already got. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at NellyH34 and at Nelson.Haskin on IG. And you can just find me at my name on Facebook if you ever want to get up with me on there. And then I don't think, did we ever put new social media on here? There it is.
No.
How do you at?
Oh. Wow.
Hey, be sure to follow his Instagram at 205hoops, man. He got good things going on, man. So y'all be sure to go give him a follow and check him out over there. But for sure, man. Appreciate you once again. That does it for us over here at the BeBall Jones podcast. We hope y'all enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another great episode. And without further ado, man, we out.